Alright, so we're going to do some graphing of linear equations. So let's start with the equation. Let's say we have y equals 2x minus 3. So to make this graph, we can just put in some ordered pairs. So we need some positives and negatives. So let's start with just a chart here. And we'll use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So we just put these numbers into our equation. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to start with 2. So I put this 2 in there. So 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3 is 1. Then I put the 1 in. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 3 is -1. Then 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is -3. 2 times -1 is -2, minus 3 is -5. And then 2 times -2 is -4, minus 3 is -7. So each one of these sets of numbers is an ordered pair. So my first one is -2, -7. So I put a dot at -2, -7. Then I put one at -1, -5. Then 0, -3. Then 1, -1. And then 2, +1. So when you do this, all your dots should form a line. And then each one of these ordered pairs is a solution to that equation. Alright, so now we have another equation, y equals -2x plus 4. So let's start with making our table. So we have our x and our y. Again, it's just easier to do with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So here I'm going to start with the negatives because a negative times a negative is positive. So I'm going to do -2 times -2, which is 4, plus 4 is 8. And then -2 times -1 would be 2, plus 4 is 6. -2 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. -2 times 1 is -2, plus 4 is 2. And then -2 times 2 is -4, plus 4 is 0. So then I can put these points on my graph there. So I have a point at -2, +8. Point at -1, +6. 0, 4. 1, 2. And 2, 0. So again, connect your dots. Make sure they form a line. If they don't form a line, you know you did something incorrect. And then each one of those numbers in my chart there is a solution to that equation. Alright, so I'm going to do one more. So we have y equals 1/2 x minus 1. So again, start with your table. But here, I'm not going to just use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 because my coefficient, that's the number in front of the x, is 1/2. So I'm going to use things that are easily cut in half. Now, you can cut 1 and 3s in half easily, but it's easier if you just do multiples of 2. So I'm going to do -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. It's not mathematically wrong to do other numbers. It's just, if I'm picking the numbers myself, I'm going to pick the easiest ones. Alright, so this time I'm going to start at the +4. So half of 4 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then half of 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Half of 0 is still 0. Minus 1 is -1. Half of -2 is -1. Minus 1 is -2. Half of -4 is -2. Minus 1 would be -3. So now I can put these points on my graph. So I got a point at -4, -3. Then -2, -2. Then 0, -1. Then 2, 0. And then 4, 1. So connect my points. They make a line. So I know I did it correct. And then each one of those ordered pairs is a solution to that equation.